Think you know how a bill becomes a law? Don't be so sure. Here's Krystal with her daily rant. Take it away.
Thanks, Matt. If you're a child of the 80s like me, you likely have fond memories of Schoolhouse Rock. One of the all-time classics is I'm Just a Bill.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill.
There's just one tiny problem. Sadly, this is nothing like how bills actually become law now. I mean, where are the lobbyists and super PACs, the maxed out donors and Grover Norquist pledges? Perhaps the greatest perversion of our democratic process, however, has come from a surprising place: public charities. Organizations like the American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC, and Americans United for Life, or AUL, are using a 501c3 charity status to undermine our democracy. They provide a vehicle for corporations and moneyed interests to buy influence at wholesale and to get a tax break while doing it. Here's how these supposed charities distort and undermine our democracy. Rather than gleaning bill ideas from the local community, Schoolhouse Rock style, ALEC and AUL prompt legislators on model legislation to push. Rather than lawmakers drafting community-appropriate bills with a skilled staff, they download boilerplate bills. In ALEC's case, the model legislation is frequently written by the very corporations who will benefit from its passage. Even the bill debate and discussion is part of the all-inclusive ALEC and AUL package. Both organizations provide expert testimony, talking points, briefs, and any other assistance the legislator might need to force their paint-by-numbers bill into law. Public outrage about ALEC and AUL has originated with liberals concerned about the type of far-right legislation they're pushing. Legislation like Florida's Stand Your Ground law and Virginia's transvaginal probes. These protests, however, have become powerful because when ordinary people learn about ALEC and AUL tactics, they are appalled. Corporations have also discovered that public association with these organizations and tactics is bad for business. In other words, ALEC and AUL depend on secrecy for survival. Look, we're not so naive as to believe that our democracy functions exactly like the Schoolhouse Rock ideal. But is it too much to ask that we should know who's behind the laws impacting our families and communities? Is it so unrealistic to request that taxpayers subsidize real charities rather than partisan lobbying shops? Must we accept our legislators simply as marionettes with their strings pulled by secret corporate puppeteers? A pushback against ALEC is underway by Common Cause, United Republic, and others. Want to take our country back? Start here. Matt?
Krystal, impassioned as always, and I have to tell you, I love your use of Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock was very big in our house. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? I would sing Mr. Morton for you if we had the time, but
here's my one. Save that for another day.
Here's my one question. Just got about 30 seconds. I take your point on the Stand Your Ground laws and a lot of the bad stuff that ALEC's been involved in, but it's true that liberal groups do use 501c3s and even model laws. There's a lot of consumer protection laws around the state, so it's not the tool per se, it's whether it's being used for good or evil, right?
That's true. I mean, I would say there's nothing on the left that's equivalent to ALEC. That's to start with. But really the answer here is the reason the pushback has been successful is because we've had some transparency around who's actually funding this group. And that's what we need as a start, knowing who's funding these organizations.
All right, Krystal with a great reminder of how we expose these things to put them to an end. Thanks for being here as always.